Thanks and welcome to the 6:15. I'm Kejang Henry at Tembe. We begin with our top stories. Pressure is mounting for justice following the killing of 14 members of the Mbororo community in Kidado Ndu subdivision of the northwest region of Cameroon. And survivors and medical experts amplified calls for early detection of cancer as a crucial step in saving lives. The calls are coming in as the world marks Cancer Day. And as Cameroon observes Bilingualism Week, concerns are growing over the rework application of the country's English-French language policy. Top stories. You can hook up with us on our respective platforms. On Canal International, we begin from Yaoundé, where pressure is mounting for justice following the killing of members of the Mbororo community, 14 of them in Ndu subdivision, precisely in Kidado village. At a forum that held this morning in Yaoundé, human rights group Bantu Consulting has asked the authorities to fast-track the investigation that led to the 14 January killings in Ndu subdivision and, of course, bring those perpetrators into account. High-Cynthia reports from Yaoundé.
The January 14 Gidado killings that claimed the lives of 14 people is still a bitter pill to swallow. The inhuman action is just one among many within the context of the Anglophone conflict. The Bantu Consulting joins its voice to condemn the barbaric acts, bringing together some stakeholders this Wednesday, January 4th, 2026, to advocate for responsibilities in seeking solutions.
What can be done? What is the stand of law in these matters? And what can we do for due justice to everybody in this situation? I think that's why we are here today. All the main recommendations is that everybody must do his job, must act in accordance with his mission.
Present in the forum, Mboskoda insists on targeted attacks and killings of the Mbororo community by the separatist groups.
Recently, the Mbororo communities have been targeted due to their nature. Firstly, their nature of their properties, which are their cattle. The separatists seize their cattle as a way of income. So from time to time, most of the rich Mbororos are being targeted, either demanded by phone or other means to support their atrocities, or these Mbororos are being kidnapped and asked ransom, very huge ransom, which have never been below $1 million francs.
Bantu Consulting also emphasizes on the respect of human rights in the crisis regions by both the state's military and separatist fighters.
Thanks very much, High-Cynthia. And Youth Voices took center stage authority in what was a rare and open dialogue. Of course, the exchange saw 5 ministers in front of the young people with tough questions on education, employment, and opportunities. Beatrice Ngamo sat through that session.
The Youth Week, opportunity for this privileged group, young Cameroonians, to dig deep into what the decision makers have in store for them. During the exchange session, they did not hold back as they questioned ministers on unemployment, access to funding for startup, quality education, vocational training, and the effectiveness of youth-focused public policies. The exchange reflected a growing demand among young people to be heard and included in decision-making process. Government ministers acknowledged the concern raised and used the platform to clarify ongoing reforms and programs aimed at youth empowerment. They emphasized government's determination to create an enabling environment for youth innovation, entrepreneurship, and decent employment.
Aujourd'hui, nous avons suivi le ministre des Sports.
Today we follow the Minister of Sport as he informed people about the opportunities available to them beyond being footballers or handball players, the possibilities that the sports sector offers to young people in terms of employment. The initiative underscored the spirit of Youth Week around the theme, Youth at the Heart of Great Hopes for a United, Stable and Prosperous Cameroon.
Thanks very much, Beatrice Ngamo. And elsewhere, young people in the Mefo and Akono division are taking center stage as the 60th edition of the National Youth Week actually kicked off, or has officially kicked off, launched on Tuesday in Bikok. Bikok, precisely. The celebrations actually feature education, cultural displays, as well as sporting events. Details with Ate Bonaventure.
The 60th edition of the National Youth Week kickstarts in Bikok within the Mefo and Akono division of the Central Region, with young and dynamic denizens set to play their role as nation builders. The week-long activity includes sensitization campaigns, socio-cultural activities with animation and dance groups, and a mini-youth Champions League tournament.
Dans le cadre de la célébration de la 60e édition de la fête de la jeunesse, placée cette année sous le thème « Jeunesse au cœur des grandes espérances pour un Cameroun uni, stable et prospère », Monsieur Anaba, Henri Michel, a décidé de se joindre à la commission des activités sportives pour organiser ce mini-tournoi de football que nous sommes en train de vivre actuellement. Toute chose qui permet à la jeunesse de notre arrondissement de célébrer ce soixantenaire de la plus belle des manières.
The opening game pitted Foncia FC against Lycée Technique, with Foncia FC carrying the day after post-match penalties. The launch at the government bilingual high school field brought together youth leaders, delegates and representatives of local administration who have reminded the youth of their civic responsibility as the activities unfold.
Thanks, Bonaventure. And the UN Cameroon country team wants to reinforce their accountability and to prepare new grounds for a framework for cooperation for between 2027 and 2031. Of course, this will include an integrated global priorities, as Beatrice Ngamo's report.
The world is facing security, climatic, financial, economic and political challenges. Today, Cameroon, like the others, is navigating through this while pursuing her journey towards the National Development Strategy and Vision 2035. The UN Family Retreat Tuesday in Yaoundé in the presence of government officials and partners.
So we are here to reflect and see how we can align to those national priorities. And this is an opportunity for us to take a step back, to reflect collectively and plan strategically.
This 2026, the UN team wants to transform their commitment into concrete action.
To reinforce our accountability and prepare the new cooperation framework 2027-2031.
Working with the government and partners to integrate global priorities. The end goal of the retreat is to ensure the collective actions and responses reinforce the implementation of Vision 2035 and NDS 30.
Thanks, Beatrice Ngamo. What many consider as trash is an inspiration to many young people living in Douala, especially the artists. And of course, they are transforming this trash into marketable products and making more money for themselves. Cynthia Latte went fishing for some of these young people and how they are transforming the trash into an economic activity.
Colored stones, seashells, recycled plastic bottles and used bulbs artistically plastered onto colorful wooden boards. Silas von Beku is transforming a childhood passion for painting into an initiative that both decorates homes and helps protect the environment. We meet the 32-year-old on the streets of Douala, hawking his designs from a truck he personally fabricated.
They are polluting the environment. We have bottles that can even harm you. So I pick them, I put them together, and then I try to make an artwork out of it.
At Silas's workshop, we watch as he carefully designs a piece using used light bulbs. It takes him about an hour to complete an artwork, which sells between 3,500 to 7,500 francs CFA.
I pick them. When I pick them now, I have to wash them, and then I design them like this.
Once a music studio, his workplace has now been converted into a designed workshop after Silas chose to pause his music career to pursue visual arts. Each design here tells a particular story.
This one is a love story of two people. They go for a picnic. Now in a bush somewhere around tree side. Now when they get there, you see, this is their bicycle. This is where they were resting on this bed. Now later something happened. This bridge collapsed. Now when the bridge collapsed, now they have to call for this helicopter.
Sourcing materials is not always easy. Silas sometimes travels to Kribi to collect real seashells for his artwork. With seashells design still relatively new to many Cameroonians, he says he struggles to attract customers.
They don't understand what I'm doing because they are used to artificial flowers.
However, those who take time to approach his artwork say they often fall in love with the designs at first sight.
It looks good and it is also like a creative work.
I'm buying it for some of my loved ones.
Silas hopes to expand his artwork into a larger business, but says limited funding remains a major challenge.
Very difficult financing it because people think it's just picking bottles and other stuff. If you see this one, if it's in a glass, it will really be nice and it will last longer.
Seashells-based artwork remains uncommon in Cameroon, but Silas is determined to make it more visible.
Thanks very much, Cynthia Latte. Interesting indeed. Achu is a grass-field delicacy, but then it is more consumed, like people say, every month, every Sunday, from sportsmen and women to just any Cameroonian who hangs out early in the morning. Cynthia Latte now takes us to several Achu.
Known for its pounded cocoyam and distinctive yellow soup, Achu has long been a communal meal tied to family gatherings and cultural traditions. In Douala, it has evolved into what many now describe as a Sunday Achu concept, enjoyed in homes, eateries, and social spaces.
A lot of my age mates don't intervene into businesses where they will actually dirty themselves or go into food business. They feel like to get money they can do modern things. So I had to be different and go into the traditional method. That's why I prefer the every Sunday Achu.
For some residents, the meal is a new culinary discovery.
It was just a plate that was consumed by people come from West region. But today you can have sometime Northeast that they eat Achu, so it's something very beautiful.
I like Achu because it's our traditional meal, and I've noticed that it's not only the Northwest people that are eating Achu.
For others, particularly those from the grass fields, it evokes a sense of nostalgia and connection to home.
They usually say in our tradition that these soups also cure some illnesses, so that is why we feel comfortable to eat it.
When you eat Achu Sunday morning, it gives you powers. You don't want drinking even beer, you stand normally.
The growing popularity of Achu reflects the cultural diversity in Douala and the way traditions travel and adapt in urban settings.
There is not a specific day that we're supposed to eat Achu. On Sunday, it's just because on Sunday so many people have time. So people have time to eat. If not, they eat Achu every day.
As the Achu continues to spread, Sunday Achu Indwala illustrates how local cuisines can move beyond their places of origin to become shared urban experiences.
At first, I was making pepper soup. It was not that going, so I choose the traditional meal of my husband. So it's a meal that he cannot sleep. He can eat it continuously 1 week.
In embracing the dish, residents are not only adopting a meal, but also participating in quiet exchange of culture and reflects Cameroon's rich diversity.
Thanks, Sharifa. And as Cameroon heads towards upcoming elections, there is a growing number of citizens who are distancing themselves from the electoral process. Fear following post-electoral tensions in 2025 arrests coupled with what they consider as long-standing distrust in the system is actually riding them mad. Maureen D reflects on the voters' apathy.
In the run-up to the elections, many Cameroonians appear reluctant to register on electoral lists. A street survey conducted in Douala among 8 citizens reveals widespread disengagement largely linked to recent post-presidential election arrests. For many, fear and uncertainty continue to overshadow civic duty. Even those who were ready to give their last bit of energy to defend their opinions are now discouraged because of the arrest.
They should not stay behind and let the ones who may have manipulate all this electoral process. It's not difficult, easy to accept that, but the local elections are also an important opportunity to gain.
Other points to deep-seated frustration and discouragement fueled by long-standing lack of confidence in the electoral system. This growing apathy reflects a broader sentiment that voting no longer leads to meaningful change. Cameroonians are discouraged because of what happened during the presidential election. We all know what happened. We voted, but people are not happy with the outcome of the presidential election. Political actors and residents of Cameroon's economic capital argue that the responsibility also lies with political parties, urging them to adopt more convincing strategies to motivate citizens and restore faith in the process.
We have to go there. We have to be in the municipal councils. We have to be with in the National Assembly and make sure our voices are heard there also.
Political parties must go door to door, since many Cameroonians are discouraged. Grassroots outreach can help bring about change. Despite ongoing registration efforts, Littoral region alone records nearly 300,000 unclaimed voter cards lying abandoned in election council offices, an alarming indicator of declining electoral enthusiasm.
Thanks very much, Maureen D. And you are drawing the cuttings for this edition of the 6:15 of Kejang Henry Yatimbi. Lee Piju is coming up shortly with the debrief, the actuality. From all of us is goodbye.